Hello and welcome to a presentation by Dan Swedish Little. In this presentation I'm going to show you how I find Amazon FBA products that make me 68,000 plus each per month. And I know that the first thing everyone's going to say is, wow, that's a pretty bold claim. So I'll just pop up the usual screenshot of the seller account. So this is one product. As you can see at the top left, it says detailed sales page traffic by parent item. So that is one item within my Seller Central. And the dates on the top right are the 1st of September to the 30th of September. So it's a legit screenshot, 68,826.76. So with that out of the way, so what is the secret? Well, really, there is no secret. Nothing special. It's not rocket science. It's basic common sense. Some use of some time-saving tools and some pretty strict criteria that I follow. So the Swedish way, well, I live in Sweden now and they have a word which is lagom, which basically means not too much and not too little, just right. And it's a word that in no other language can be put into one word, which is an interesting fact for you. So the lagom criteria, well, just like in Swedish where they say lagom and they mean not too much, not too little, you pretty much want to apply the same thing to Amazon FBA product research as well. You want a price that's between $15 and $35. That's because the higher you go, two things: the more expensive your inventory is going to become, which isn't the end of the world because you can always buy less if you can make more money. But the main thing is that with Amazon, you've got a lot of customers who will come, see a product, click it, buy it, one-click buy. All their card deals are saved. There might even be a Prime member, so they get free next day delivery within the UK or free delivery within a few days in the States. So you don't really want people taking too long to make the decision. So that's why we're sort of cap it at $35, because everything above that, as you start to get higher and higher, people think more about it. Then also, you don't want to go too cheap, because the lower you go, the harder it's going to become to make enough margin, enough profit on the product in order to make it a viable opportunity and make long-term profit on it. So with that in mind, you also want to have a minimum of 10 sellers hitting 600 plus sales per month. So that's like 20 sales per day. And I'll tell you a little bit about the tool that I use to check that. But you can also do that on basic bestseller rank research. In the States, if you stay under sort of 6,000 BSR, then you're going to be pretty much guaranteed 20 sales per day. In the UK, you're probably going to want to be looking at closer to 1,500 BSR and under to get your 600 sales per month. And again, the reason for that is you don't really want to have a product that sells less than 20 per day, because it's going to be difficult to build up your reviews. And it's also going to be difficult to get enough sales to make profit unless you're making a very high margin per product. Then you want to be making sure it's standard size, because if you go for oversized items, it'll cost you more to get them to FBA and it'll cost you more for Amazon to deliver them to the customer. Plus you'll have very limited storage space to begin with for those items. Generally they'll give you 500 units of oversized to begin with, whereas they'll give you a pretty generous amount of storage for standard size. So everything is against you with oversize. Unless you are an experienced FBA seller, I wouldn't recommend you go and start with an oversized item. And then you want to have a maximum of 50% of sellers on page 1 with a maximum of 50% of sellers on page 1 with more than 250, and that's supposed to say reviews after that. So in this idea is that you don't really want the whole of page 1 to be dominated by people who've got lots of reviews, because you are going to rank your product somewhere on page 1, hopefully, and you don't really want to be the only one there that has like a very small amount of reviews. If you've got 50% of the page that have got a really high number of reviews, say like over 250 towards 500, but then the rest of the page have got anywhere between sort of 30 and 100, that's not the end of the world, because you will be able to slot in there and you'll quickly catch them up. But if you've got pretty much all of the page have got more than 250 reviews, up towards 500, or even worse than that, they've got like thousands of reviews, you are going to stick out like a sore thumb, and it's going to be very difficult for you to get the same sort of prices that they are getting. So there's plenty of products out there. Just keep looking until you find something that hits that criteria. So that sort of covers the no competition with more than 500 reviews, which is quite obvious. You don't want mass competition products. There's plenty out there. Keep looking. No patented products. You don't want to be infringing on any patents. So make sure if you do find a product and you're thinking, this has got a very high margin, that often points towards the fact that there's only a few sellers and therefore it could be a patented product. Use a bit of common sense there. Just do a quick search on the internet. You'll be able to find if they've got any patents on their website. Normally they would list those type of things. And you want to have a product with as few moving parts as possible, which just means it's got less to go wrong. You don't want something where there's lots of things that could potentially go wrong with the product. So that's the criteria that I stick to. So how to save time on looking for these products? Well, you can go to Amazon and you can search through all the subcategories, and you can get like Chrome extensions which show you the bestseller ranks, so you can do the research manually, but it does take time. That's how I did it in the beginning, and then people were telling me about Jungle Scout, and it took a while to convince because it is quite an expensive tool. I think when I joined, it was the lowest package was like $69 a month, which isn't cheap when you're a brand new seller. However, the way that I look at it now, when I'm launching like one product every other month, it's just part of the expense. It's part of the expense of looking for products, and it saves you a chunk of time. You can go from doing a whole day's research into just doing it in a couple of hours. And it really does make it a lot less tedious. You can filter products with the web app and put in your exact criteria. So the criteria we just talked about, you can put those into the Jungle Scout app on the web, and it will filter out all the products. And then if you want to, you can download your results as a CSV file and screen them further within Excel, or you can do that within the web app as well. And then what I do is I'll use the Chrome extension to further narrow them down. So when I'm looking at products and screening through, and I've got some that I think are a good idea, then I will click on them and then open the Chrome extension as well and have a look at what keywords are potentially being used, search those keywords, and then have a look at the top competitors for those products. Because it might be that you put in the criteria that you don't want any more than 250 reviews, but then the products that it pulls up are like not the most competitive ones, and then you go across to Amazon and you find out that the whole of page one is dominated by like 5,000 plus reviews. That's not a good product. Just because one person has managed to fall within your criteria doesn't mean that's a good market for you to go into. So next is differentiation. If you launch a Me Too product, then you are going to shoot yourself in the foot. You need to repeat after me. I will never be a Me Too, and I will always differentiate from my competition. And that is super important, because if you are going to just go out there, find a product, and then launch an identical version, which is pretty much, it is a Me Too, it's a product that is already there, then you're only going to be able to compete on price, and that's never a good thing. So always differentiate. But how to differentiate? Well, there's a differentiation to do it the right way, and then there's differentiating just for the point of differentiating. I've seen tons of people who like add an ebook, and they've basically slapped some stuff together off the internet. It's not really any added value for the customer. They just want to be able to have something else in their description to say they have not just got the product, they've also got an ebook. That is not really adding value for the customer. And that is the key with differentiation. You need to be adding value for the customer. So some of the things I've got down here are that your competitors' reviews are where I find a lot of my ways to differentiate. If you think about it, if you are looking through your competitors' reviews and you find some repetitive issues, and every single one of your competitors on page one is all getting the same comments, then is that not just a light bulb moment for you that you can go out, talk to your supplier on Skype or over email or whatever, and say to them, listen, we would love to do this product with you. However, we're finding that a lot of customers who are buying the existing products have got this problem. Is it something we can work on with you and improve the current product? And they will be open to that, because they are a business at the end of the day and they want sales. And if you have happier customers, they are going to order more products from you, and then you are going to put more orders in with them. They want to improve their products. They don't just want to slap out the current products and just continue selling them forever and ever. They are constantly wanting to improve them. So you can work with them to improve their products, and they will very happily do that with you, and they'll appreciate it. So that's what I would do. And then you will be able to sell to your competitors' weaknesses. So your first bullet point could read something like, unlike other spatulas out there that have a short handle. Our extended length handle is 12 centimeters and blah, blah, blah. And you see what I mean? So if your competition are all getting whinged about for having a short handle on their spatula, and you come out with the extended version and you're the only one there who's doing it, then it makes sense that your customers are going to choose you, because they have no doubt read your competitors' reviews. And then if they by chance look at your product, and then they read your first bullet point that says, unlike other products which have this, that and the other, ours doesn't, then they are going to start to agree with you and think, no, this is the right one to choose. So you can sell to their weaknesses, and now they are your strengths. So some ideas for differentiation. Well, that really depends on what the customers are saying. If the customers are saying that the item is too small, you can make it bigger. If the customers are saying it's too big, you can make it smaller. You can add extra items in there. So if they are saying that lots of people are buying this product with this product, and it's just a little cheap extra like add-on, why not include that? Include the extra cloth, include the extra added accessory that holds the unit or whatever. But that's not the end of it though. You can also do things like, if you are selling something and people use a lot of them, you could think about doing a multi-pack. Everyone else is selling them in singles and charging, I don't know, $15. You can sell a pack of 3 and charge $30, and then the customer's getting an extra one for basically for free. And it'll probably cost you a lot less, and you'll make a lot more margin than your competitors are doing at $15 when you sell 3 at $30. I can almost guarantee you that. Other things you can do are things like including the batteries. If you're selling something that takes batteries, and a lot of your competition are selling it without batteries, and their reviews are saying, I wish it came with the batteries, then work with your supplier. Get some decent batteries. Don't just get cheap ones. Get some decent ones. Test them. Get them to send you like a couple of packs. You'll probably have to get them sent in a unit or something like that, because it's very difficult to mail batteries these days. But if you test them out and they're decent, then yeah, there's nothing wrong with you including the batteries. You will have to go through a hazmat review with Amazon, but it's not the end of the world. You can get 1 unit in advance from your normal shipment coming through, and you can go through the hazmat form. As long as your batteries match the criteria of Amazon, which you can look up, then you're good to go. And the more hurdles that you've jumped through to get that, the less likely your competition are going to do the same. So if you are the only one on the page that's coming with batteries and everyone else that doesn't come with batteries, again, sell that in your first bullet point. Unlike other units that don't come with batteries, ours do. No need to go to the shop. Blah, blah, blah. You can see where this is going. Or you could even change the power source entirely. So if everyone else is powered on batteries and the customers are saying, I wish you could plug this in with a USB, guess what? Work with your supplier, get them to plug it in with a USB. It's probably not going to cost you as much as you think. And they've probably already got a model that does that in principle. The next one is pretty simple, a nice looking gift box. If everyone else is delivering it in a poly bag and it looks cack, and your customers are all saying that this made a great present, why not? Make it in a nice looking gift box and make it a lot better than what your competitors are presenting the product. And then put that in your images, put that in your description, and say it makes a great gift and it comes in a gift box. Happy days. And then the next one is the one that I like to do a lot, which is everyone else does ebooks, I do printed guides. I take what my competitors are doing, I look at their information that they are providing, and then I go away and I do my own research, and then I employ copywriters to actually write proper, nice, like, guides. So if you've got, like, I don't know, some sporting goods, and your product is not something that everyone will understand how to work, then you write a good guide of exercise tips with using your product, and then you print it out nicely, include some good pictures and that. Spend your time on it, making it a good guide that is literally going to add value. The customers are going to open it and think, oh, this is really good actually, and they will get talking about that in the reviews, and other customers will want that. And again, you can sell that in your bullet points and say, unlike everyone else who comes with an ebook, ours comes with a printed guide in the packaging, and you'll be able to use it from the moment you get the product. It's valuable for the customer. So the key message here is find out what your customers want that they aren't getting from the existing products and give them that thing. It's really that simple. Find out what they aren't getting already and give them it. If they want it to be bigger, make it bigger. If they want the batteries, include the batteries. Simple. But the cost of not differentiating is a lot worse than the cost of differentiating, which you might think is the total opposite way around. But a lot of people will say, well, you know, it costs extra money to get nice packaging. And yes, it does. It probably costs you 25 cents to get a nice box for your product, depending on the size, of course. It might cost you 50 cents to include the batteries, to get some good batteries. It might cost you 15 cents to get a printed booklet, depending on how many pages you're putting in it. And if you were really going to go the whole hog, and you were having a product that had a mould that was made of plastic or something like that, and everyone was saying they wanted it to be bigger, and your supplier said, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have a bigger one, work with them, make a new mould. Say, well, you want it to be 30% larger. And they'll say, no doubt, they'll all come back and say between $1,000 and $3,000 for a mould. And that's a one-off cost. You pay that cost, and you just work with them and say, if I pay that cost, I want the rights to that mould. No one else can use that mould. And therefore, you will have the only one that's bigger. If anyone else wants to do it, they'll have to make a new mould as well. And that $2,000 will be a drop in the water if you have a successful product that goes on for a long, long time. And no one else, well, very few people will be willing to do that type of thing. However, if you don't differentiate and you just think, no, it's okay, there's space for me in the market, I can take a small slice of the pie, I can just have a slightly lower price, that is literally the only thing you're going to be able to compete on, price. You're going to be just another product, just another spatula, another garlic press on the page. It's not going to give you any benefits. Your product is just going to blend in with the rest. You need to stand out in this golden age of Amazon where the competition is so high on pretty much every niche you look in. You need to be creating products that customers do want, that fulfill customers' needs, not just a product that is another one. And I told you that was simple. That is literally it. That is how I select products that make me tons of cash every single month. All you need to do is follow that. Stick to the criteria, don't differentiate from that, but do differentiate your products, and you will have successful products that will go on long term to make lots of money. Thanks.